On today's show, we take a look at the regrowth in Las Vegas tourism industry.
We also speak with Studio G reporters about a newly established podcast. All that and more on Studio G. Welcome back to Studio G. I'm Katora Thomas.
And I'm Jasmine Nguyen. Happy Thursday, everybody. Katora, I like your shirt today.
Oh my God, I like yours. Where'd you get it?
Got it from Studio G.
Same.
Any CSN seniors out there? Good news. CSN will be holding an in-person commencement ceremony for the spring 2021 semester.
This coming as a result from the overwhelming demand from students, faculty, and staff. The school has reviewed public health guidelines and determined that this is possible with necessary safety adjustments.
The ceremony will be taking place on May 15th, 2021 at 6 p.m. at the Sam Boyd Stadium.
I'm so happy that they also get to graduate because it's such a momentous moment, and I think we should all be able to do it.
Agreed, and I'm just very thankful and happy that we get to graduate in person.
Good luck to the CSN seniors. A South Carolina gunman responsible for the murders of 5 people has been identified as former NFL cornerback Philip Adams. The former NFL player shot and killed his doctor, Robert Leslie, and the doctor's family, including 2 grandkids. More information will be available as the investigation goes forward. Adams' family has asked for privacy as they mourn.
New details on the emerging in the auto accident that left Tiger Woods hospitalized. Speed is said to have been the leading factor in the crash that happened on February 23rd.
The primary causal factor for this traffic collision was driving at a speed unsafe for the road conditions and the inability to negotiate the curve of the roadway. Estimated speeds at the first area of impact were 84 to 87 miles per hour.
The event data recorder showed speeds ranged from 82.02 miles per hour to 86.99 miles per hour and back down to 68.35 miles per hour.
Woods has since been released from the hospital and is still recovering from his injuries at home.
Some travelers did not have an ideal Easter weekend. Studio G reporter Sydney Orpano has the story.
This Easter weekend, Delta Airlines canceled about 100 flights between Sunday and Monday's operation. The airline shared in a statement explaining the cancellations the following, quote, Delta teams have been working through various factors, including staffing, large numbers of employee vaccinations, and pilots returning to active status, end quote. They're the last national airline blocking middle seats to accommodate social distancing. On Sunday and Monday, for the first time since the pandemic, Delta opened the middle seats for passengers who are inconvenienced by the cancellations. Duke is a Delta conflict resolution officer here in Las Vegas at McCarran Airport and shares their thoughts on the Easter weekend cancellation.
With the pandemic, and there's so many people that don't have the resources to get their vaccine, and there's so many frontline workers. I know of other companies that really want the vaccine being exposed a lot, and they don't have the ability to do so. I think it's really saying a lot about Delta. That I was worried that there would be a lot of hesitation, but I definitely think everyone is jumping on the ability to get it. However, do I think people are taking advantage of maybe having extra time? It's hard to say. It probably is more of an individual on the person.
Right.
I could definitely see where, I have a headache, I don't feel, I might take a day. I think everyone's pain tolerance or uncomfortability is different, so maybe that's what it is, but it's hard to say.
Delta's seat blocking policy to help social distancing remains in place until May 1st. This is Sydney Orpano reporting for Studio G.
Wow, so many people are going to be traveling sometime soon. Have you traveled recently?
Not recently, but about a few months ago, I had to travel to Colorado.
Oh, what part?
Aurora. Well, we fly into Denver,
Oh, that's fun.
Have you traveled?
I have. I was recently in Nashville to see my grandma and my mom, fully vaccinated, safe travels.
Nice. That's what we like to see. Mm-hmm. Tashara Jones makes history as the first Black woman elected as the mayor of St. Louis. Jones served as a member of the Missouri House of Reps prior to becoming mayor. The newly elected mayor promises to focus on reforming the criminal justice system with more emphasis on social work and mental health workers as opposed to increasing the numbers of police in the city.
Don't go anywhere. After the break, we take a look at this weekend's forecast.
We also take a look at how the vaccinations has impacted Las Vegas.
Today, millions of people all across America are building a life in recovery from mental and substance use disorders, helping themselves and helping each other with friends, family, and community, lending their strength and support. Join the Voices for Recovery. Together, we are stronger. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders, for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
This is what too much sounds like. This is what stress feels like. And this is what help feels like. If you've lost a job, worry about your next meal, or have trouble making it through the day, we can help. Text STRESS to 211-211 to find a solution.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Valentina Menshikov here with the weather. So taking a look at today, it's going to be a beautiful day with a high of 89. Right now, it is a bit warmer and it's going to be a little bit windy. That wind is going to pick up later in the day. Right now, it's not too bad, just a little bit of a breeze, but keep in mind that wind might reach up to 21 miles per hour. Taking a look at tonight, it's going to be pretty warm tonight. We have a low of 60 degrees, but that won't really happen until way later in the evening. So you will definitely be able to go enjoy your evening. You probably won't need a jacket. All right, taking a look at the entire valley, pretty consistent warm weather throughout. If we take a look at Centennial and Summerlin, 74, that's probably going to get a little bit warmer throughout the day. North Vegas and Las Vegas, 79 right now. Probably a high of around 84 later on in the day. And then of course, as we get lower, Green Valley and Southern Highlands, a little bit on the cooler side, not as hot as Mid-Valley. And then taking a look at Boulder City and Henderson, pretty consistent, probably going to be around a high of 80 degrees. And then taking a look at our 5-day forecast, as you can see, we're going to have sun all week. Not really a surprise as we're transitioning into the summer weather. So high of 80s. Sunday, we're going to see a high of 90, which is awesome. So guys, it's going to be a lovely, lovely weekend. COVID restrictions are lifting and a lot of attractions are starting to open up back in Vegas. So go out and enjoy your weekend. That's the weather. I'm going to send it back to the desk.
New CDC guidelines could mean good news for the Las Vegas economy. Studio G reporter Valentina Menshikov has the story.
The Vegas Strip was hit hard when lockdowns initially started, but with vaccinations being distributed every day, Las Vegas is in for a treat. With new CDC guidelines regarding travel for fully vaccinated individuals, Las Vegas could see a boom in tourism. The CDC recently released new guidelines that would allow fully vaccinated individuals to be around other fully vaccinated individuals without masks, and for these individuals to forego testing and quarantining after being exposed to the virus, so long as they do not experience symptoms. This means traveling could increase in the country as more vaccinations are distributed, bringing more tourism to Las Vegas. According to CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky, people want to get vaccinated so they can enjoy doing the things with the people they love.
We are vaccinating at a rate of 3 million people on average every day. This is the spirit of the American people that will help us see this through together.
These new guidelines are a huge step for Vegas tourism. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Valentina Menshikov.
With every vaccination distributed, we are one step closer to getting back the Vegas we have missed so much.
As Couture mentioned, vaccine distribution will help get us back to normal. The tourism industry in Las Vegas is slowly gaining popularity. Studio G reporter Dijon Sullivan takes us to the Las Vegas Strip to tell us what foot traffic is looking like.
I'm live from Studio G. My name is Dijon Sullivan, and yes, we are here on the Las Vegas Strip, as you guys can see. It has been a magnificent day, beautiful weather. Make sure you and your families are starting to come back out, guys, because everything's starting to pick up. We got our entertainment section going crazy. We got food opening back up, and a lot of good things are coming to the city, guys. So be aware, and let's take a look.
The city of Las Vegas continues to make its transition. We see more people and more families coming back out to the Las Vegas Strip to enjoy the activities and everything that they have to offer and has offered for the last few years. The pandemic hit a huge toll on the city and the economy, but it's slowly coming back together as more vaccines are being given out, as more stimulus checks are being given out. Restaurants are also starting to pack back up. More people are eating and more people are coming out with their family, co-workers, and just trying to enjoy the beautiful weather that Las Vegas has to offer. And we hope to continuously see more steady progress, as we also have the Las Vegas Raiders here to bring more traffic into the city as well, and to have more of our venues become more filled, and to keep the money and flow in the city in a good rotation so that we come back as a whole and stay Vegas strong. I'm Dijon Sullivan with Studio G, and that's all I have for you guys. I'll send it right back to the desk.
As the city starts to reopen and foot traffic picks up, make sure you are continuing to wear your face mask and practice social distance that will help stop the spread of COVID.
UNLV may not be the #1 university overall, but there is a category we are #1 in: hospitality. If you're looking for a taste of the top tier program, look no further than right here on campus, where the cafe that has been closed for over a year due to the pandemic has finally reopened their doors.
Hey, excuse me, where'd you get that drink?
Oh, this? Rebel Grounds. You want to go check it out?
Sure.
All right, let's go check it out.
That's that Spoon Peach Black Lemonade?
This is Rebel Grounds, a completely student-run cafe here on campus. Overseen by Executive Chef Mark Sandoval and Assistant Executive Chef Stephanie Bogart, these students are getting a true hands-on experience of what it's like in the hospitality world.
They're learning a skill set, but also it's so important that you can interact with guests. And that's a skill that you can't really teach.
I think the best part about here is, since it's student run, that's a huge factor, because they were like, oh, I want to be a part of something like this, especially in the hospitality program.
The environment is definitely what drew new hire Madison Mirabal to the cafe.
I actually spent a huge portion of my freshman year here. I came and got a sandwich every single day. And when I saw that they sent out that people were able to apply, I hopped on it right away.
Rebel Grounds takes pride in supporting the local community by selling coffee from a local roastery and food from a local vendor. But many of the items on the menu are made in-house.
With the beverage menu and the food menu, really we've tried to stabilize that menu. That way people always know they can come back for that same item.
And with safety protocols in place and plenty of room to spread out, to study, or relax, the Rebel Grounds team wants you to know they're happy to be back and serving the UNLV community. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Vanessa Lauren.
Rebel Grounds is located inside the hospitality building and will be open Mondays through Thursdays, now till May 7th. Then again, the first day of summer, term 2. You can follow them on Instagram at Rebel Grounds to stay up to date. What's your favorite coffee shop?
I'd have to say Dutch Bros for right now.
Mine is Dutch Bros too.
But I do enjoy Starbucks, but it's Dutch Bros.
No, Dutch Bros, that white chocolate lavender oat milk latte.
Agreed.
Mouthful.
That's
amazing.
That's my favorite. I'm really on the oat milk trend right now.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere. We feature 2 of our own reporters who are doing more than just producing news.
All of that and more after this break.
In times of fear, we've been there for the most vulnerable. For the last 70 years, we've been on the front lines with kids and families during some of the world's hardest times. Through disease, natural disasters, and war, on the ground with immediate aid and staying long-term to help rebuild lives. And we're doing the same today. Because rising to the challenges in our DNA, And with every act of courage, faith, and love, at home and abroad, we do more than just stop the spread of fear. We replace it with hope. Learn more at worldvision.org.
Our own reporters at Studio G are creating their own content and has reached an audience through podcasts. Maria Debut has more.
Some of our very own reporters create podcasts when they're not creating news stories. Daphne Gully and Renica Mabalo, who have been friends since freshman year of college, created the Don't Tell Mom podcast, where they talk about topics and tell stories that they wouldn't tell their own mothers. The podcast is targeted to young adults and college students who can relate to their experiences. You can find their podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and any platform where you usually get your podcasts. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Maria Debut.
Now to Maria, who will be sitting down with one half of the Don't Tell Mom podcast duo.
I'm here today with Daphne Gully, one of the hosts of Don't Tell Mom podcast. Hi, Daphne.
Hello.
So, how did the idea to create the podcast come around?
Okay, well, it started, me and Bren have been friends since our freshman semester here, so like 2018, and we would have these late night FaceTime calls where we would do our homework, but then it would turn into like midnight, 1 a.m., where we start talking about the most random things that I probably shouldn't be saying at 1 a.m. in the morning, and we figured that it was so funny that why not share it with our friends in a podcast form. So earlier this year, we decided to go on Amazon, purchase a microphone, and just start recording our crazy conversations.
I think that's great. What's your favorite part about the podcast?
Oh, goodness. I would have to say my favorite part is that I am doing it with my best friend. So it's very easy to have conversations with people and like talk about things, but it's even easier when you're talking it with someone you're comfortable with. And the two of us just kind of bounce off each other. It's just like if you were to sit down and talk with your best friend and talk about the guy you went out with last weekend or the homework assignment that you just stayed up all night with. So it's fun to be able to do that with her and kind of have like our own outlet to speak our mind.
Do you guys have like a script, or is it kind of like a free flow of like, you know, we're going to talk about whatever happened to us in the past week, or like, you know, how does it work?
So when we first started, we kind of planned out the first couple episodes just because it was new to us, so we didn't really know how to even start or where it came from. So we kind of just mapped out like main points that we were going to talk about, and we kind of just made sure that we hit each point. But as we've gotten more into it, it's just kind of becoming like we started doing conversations like on our way to school. So we'll just talk about random things. We'll talk about like how I had my crazy work shifts, or like we both take the same classes. So we always usually talk about like the professors that we have, or like the homework assignments, or how stressed out we are being like college students. So it definitely comes just like straight off the dome most of the time.
Since the podcast is for people our age, so how important do you think it is to have more of this kind of podcast that where people like us can relate to you guys? Like, how important is that for you to have that?
I love that you asked this question. We just talked about this in our episode coming up. The podcast has become kind of a way for us to talk about things that we usually don't talk about or kind of express. And I feel like one thing that's very important to me is like my mental health. So this podcast is kind of like my outlet to just talk about whatever and kind of get it out. So I feel like anyone who can relate to that, most of us college students, we really don't have enough time to like sit there and really think about what we're doing. We're kind of just go, school, work, and then back to school. So I think having a podcast where people can relate and like understand, like someone is going through this with me too, like someone understands the struggle is very important, because not a lot of times you can relate to people in the news or on the media and stuff like that. So it has that fun aspect to it.
I also feel like a lot of times people are scared to speak out about certain things because they feel like they're not going through the same thing. So like, has there been like any topic where you feel like that you've talked about that like relates to like everybody could relate to because of our age and like, you know, everything?
That's a good one. I want to say the topic that we recently just talked about is currently like we always talk about like the dating scene or like my lack thereof. And especially now with like the pandemic and everything, it's a lot harder. So I feel like if someone understands like what it's like dating in COVID times and like trying to like find someone, but like also being safe and social distancing. So I feel like that's something that we talk about that like not a lot of people talk about. I feel like dating is just not a topic you talk about, especially with your own mother.
Yes, no, it's scary. And in the last couple episodes, we've been talking about dating. And I wanted to ask you, how's the experience for you when you go on dates now? Or like, have you been on dating apps since we've been talking about it?
Oh my goodness. So yes, in one of the episodes, I talk about my first date was probably through a dating app, and let me tell you, that was an experience. It's definitely a different environment, meeting random people and like having to go through coffee and then like trying to feel out the vibes and everything. And let me just tell you, the vibes were not there. The vibes were definitely off that time. Yes. But it hasn't steered me away. Like, I'm still young. I have like a lot of time left. So I feel like I just got to get myself out there and just kind of hope for the best.
So what days does the podcast air?
Yes. So on Fridays, we upload, we kind of been alternating between podcast episodes. So sometimes we'll upload just the audio to like Spotify or like Apple Music, kind of wherever podcasts are formed. And then recently we have been doing car vlogs. So we have our own YouTube channel. So sometimes we'll switch to that, but it's usually Fridays at noon.
Okay, thank you so much for being here today with us,
Thank you for having me.
And I hope your podcast continues to grow.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. Studio G will be right back.
MS does suck.
MS mucks with your central nervous system. Almost everything about your body, your muscles, your organs, your ability to speak, your ability to understand, your ability to move.
MS took everything from me. Everything I thought was important, everything I valued.
I used to jump in a trampoline and swim with the kids.
MS has affected me being a mom because I'm sorry.
Despite MS, I will keep riding my bike.
I will continue to be the strongest mom that I possibly can.
I will still dance with my husband.
I will continue to live the life that my daughter expects me to live.
Multiple sclerosis may be a part of who you are, but it doesn't define you.
I will never stop. I will never quit.
I'm going to keep being me.
Do you like ketchup on your fries or maybe on a burger? Enjoy it while you can. America is facing a nationwide ketchup shortage. This shortage coming as a direct result of the COVID pandemic. At the start of COVID, the CDC discouraged the use of tabletop condiments at restaurants, in addition to urging more people to turn to make takeout. As a result, ketchup manufacturers are having a hard time keeping up with the demand for ketchup packets around the nation. Heinz specifically has announced that they have increased production by 25% in attempts to curb this national issue. Stay with Studio G for more updates in the following weeks. This weekend in Rebel Athletics, softball is heading out to Utah and men's soccer hosts a conference leader. But first, the reigning Mountain West Player of the Week, Eric Bigani, and the baseball team will take on the Arizona Sun Devils at the Las Vegas ballpark next Tuesday at 6. At 5 p.m. This is the second time meeting against ASU after the Rebels defeated them last month in Phoenix when the home team was ranked number 11 in the country. Prior to the Tuesday night grudge match, the Rebels will host the Pacific Tigers for a 3-game series this weekend at Earl E. Wilson Stadium.
The softball team will hit the road to play Utah State in Logan for a doubleheader on Saturday and a morning finale on Sunday. Finally, the men's soccer team will host the undefeated Lopes of GCU in the season finale on Saturday before the Western Athletic Conference tournament begins next Tuesday. Coming back on Tuesday to find out the results, or come back on Tuesday to find out the results of the other Rebel news right here on Studio G.
It's time for what's trending today on Thursday, April 8th. Dr. Tobin, a physician in pulmonary and critical care medicine who testified in the Derek Chauvin trial this morning. Dr. Tobin was able to explain to the jurors through video and diagrams that the cause of death for George Floyd was a low level of oxygen resulting from multiple factors, including being in a prone position while handcuffed, having a knee on his neck and knees on his back, arms, and sides. Today is the day 9 in the Chauvin trial. You can watch the trial live weekdays on Court TV.
Rapper DMX remains on life support as doctors begin to undergo brain function tests and following his overdose nearly a week ago. The Grammy-nominated rapper is currently at a White Plains hospital where fans have gathered for a prayer vigil. Also trending today is Rex Manning fans of the 1995 movie Empire Records celebrate April 8th as Rex Manning Day. Because that is the date of the 80s heartthrob is set to appear at the Tilter store. Hollywood star Joseph Gordon-Levitt even joined in on the fun, saying, "It's April 8th, so happy Rex Manning Day. If you know, you know." If you're curious to watch Empire Records, it is available on Prime Video.
Finally trending is WNBA. The Women's National Basketball Association introduced new Nike uniforms on Twitter this morning to celebrate the league's 25th anniversary. And that's what's on trending.
Remember the classic 101 Dalmatians? Well, the notorious Cruella de Vil is getting her own movie.
From the very beginning, I realized I saw the world differently than everyone else. That didn't sit well with some people. But I wasn't for everyone. I guess they were always scared that I'd be a psycho. Sorry now. But a new day brings new opportunities. Sorry now. And I was ready to make a statement. How does the saying go? I am woman, hear me roar. I'm just getting started, darling. The thing is, I was born brilliant, born bad, and a little bit mad. I'm Cruella.
Wow. So, Katora, what's your favorite Disney movie?
I actually love the Disney movies that came out in the early 2000s, such as Lilo and Stitch,
Agreed.
Treasure Planet, all the really good movies that are overlooked in favor of
Emperor's New Groove.
Yes,
It's
also
a classic.
fantastic movie. Like, we have such good taste.
We do. One of a kind.
That's all we have for you today. I'm Katora Thomas.
And I'm Jasmine Nguyen. We'll see you here next week.